All right. So you're watching the first episode of SEC's Mic Club podcast, also called the Ask an Innovator podcast. You're, I'm Gustavo Garcia, and with me I have the wonderful London Hack. Tell me a little bit about yourself, London.
So I'm 23 years old. I am currently working downtown. I work at a music venue, and it's really awesome being able to see like basically all of my childhood favorite bands perform,
Right.
and just be there to see them sound check. And yeah, so I've been going to SEC for 2 years now and studying under Dennis Roland, and
Okay.
it's pretty cool. I love being a jazz major. It's a lot of work, but yeah.
Okay. Cool. So tell me, where are you from?
Originally, I was born in Pittsburgh and I lived in Arizona until about third grade. And then I was pretty much raised in Atlanta for the last 13 years.
Atlanta.
Hmm.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit what you learned about from like where your music influence comes from.
Okay, yeah. Well, my dad's a musician. He plays every instrument but predominantly bass. But it really wasn't. I do think there's a funk and R&B influence for sure in my music.
Mm-hmm.
But I went to the Toronto Jazz Festival in third grade, and then I fell in love with jazz and like Etta James,
Right.
and then from that point forward, it was just like I wanted to be a jazz vocalist.
Okay. So what part of music? So like as far as like okay, so for me, I'm a rap artist, right?
Right.
So when I was younger, there'd be certain lines from people like Eminem. Uh,
Right.
there are just certain ways that they do things. What aspect of the music really brought you in?
I guess that it's this simple. I mean, jazz isn't simple at all, but lyrically it's kind of simple,
Mm-hmm.
but it's complex at the same time. Etta James is probably the first person to really make an impact on me musically,
Mm-hmm.
besides like Stevie Wonder, of course.
Right. Oh,
And
superstition.
yeah,
Yeah.
actually, Ribbons in the Sky is my favorite song by him.
Oh, okay.
But like Sunday Kind of Love, I don't
Okay.
know. I really like sad ballads. I don't know, just like really,
Really heartfelt.
yeah,
I
really
feel that.
heartfelt, like simple, like I love you anyways type of stuff.
Okay. I feel that. That's interesting that you said that. I'm working on a project right now too.
Okay.
And that would be kind of like one of the concepts of the song's final song. But that's really cool. That's really cool to hear. So um this is my first time
No,
doing this.
you're fine.
So me wanting to start this podcast,
Mhm.
honestly, it was really to help other artists, help musicians, help actors, help everybody
Yeah.
really come on a platform and talk about really what they do. So, do you have any do you have any music out digitally, or do you normally just play things live as far as jazz, or what do you got going on?
Yeah, so I have some things out. It's not necessarily like mine. It's features I've done with rappers and stuff, so I don't usually promote that.
Hmm.
Not because I don't appreciate the opportunity, but because I feel like as an artist, what I want to be seen as isn't that particularly. Like I'm very proud
Hmm.
to be a part of those projects where bigger rappers are on and stuff like that, but it's what I want people to hear from me first
Right.
isn't necessarily that because I don't want to have a genre necessarily.
Right. You don't want that to be
Mm.
your first impression.
Yeah, exactly. So I do a lot of things live,
Hmm.
not necessarily my own stuff. I am working on that. It's been like a year process and it feels like it's never ending, but
Right.
I don't know. I'm just being really patient with it. I do a lot of jazz standards when I'm out.
So tell me a little bit about this project that you're working on. You said it was about a year process.
Yeah. So, basically, I was writing songs unintentionally, but intentionally.
Hmm.
It's kind of like I was having a really rough patch, and my way of dealing with it was just like, I'm going to write a song about it. And then I
Right.
felt better. And so, basically, how I fell into this process was I was in Dennis's class, his studio class last year,
Hmm.
and he's like, "Oh, it's your turn." So basically, you go up there, you give the band a key signature, count them in, and you just do it in front of everyone. And I forgot my backpack, so all I had was like staff paper and my own songs. So I was like, "Can I do one of my own songs?" And it wasn't like not to like I'm not that impressive, so don't think it was like written out like note for note. It was just the leads like chord chart.
Right.
So yeah, we did one of my songs, and he was like, "Oh, you wrote that?" And then he just kind of pushed me ever since to write my own music, and I did. And anytime I write something, I show it to him, and he kind of tweaks it, makes it more beautiful.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, as far as this project, tell me some of the difficulties, like
Mm.
for example, me, I'm been working on a project, and I thought I could write it in the span of 2 weeks because I had so much in my head.
Oh yeah.
And then when I actually sat down to get to writing it, I was like, oh man, I have more to say with each
Yeah.
concept, everything. So sometimes I felt like things were getting left out. What were some of the things that you felt or that you do feel right now currently, because you're still working on it, that
Mm.
are the challenges of this project?
I think the challenges are that life comes in waves, so you feel things at different times, and a lot of times it's more intense. So what I was writing at that time isn't what I'm going through anymore.
Right.
So it's kind of hard because I was so heartbroken because I was in a 3 year relationship and it just had ended when I started this project, and a lot of it was very like therapeutical for me.
Right.
I think that's the right word I want
Oh
to
yeah.
use,
Oh yeah.
and I don't know, like that was kind of like my healing process, was like singing about like what I went through and how
Hmm.
hard it was, and I'm just in a different place and I'm happy now, so it's hard to go back to those songs and like
Right.
kind of channel that.
Kind of like I don't know if you've ever been through this, but you hear an instrumental, you hear something, you start writing something, and you kind of like step away from it, like, oh, almost like procrastinating for me. Step away
Yeah,
from it, like, oh, I'll come back to this idea
all the
later,
time.
and then you come back to the idea, and then you're like, there's three things that happen: either you don't like the idea,
Yeah.
you don't remember where you were going next with the idea,
Hmm.
or you continue the idea, but I don't think that there's anything really like that moment when you're feeling something and you
Right.
start to write. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's definitely not as organic, but I feel like anytime I try to go in there, like I've had people, not gonna name any names,
Hmm.
they're close friends of mine and have given me really awesome opportunities, but like, oh, let me come in the studio and direct you and this and that, and
Hmm.
they're not musicians. And
Hmm.
it's like, I don't like, I'm not one of those people that wants a bunch of people or like people drinking in the studio. It's like my time to really get whatever I have on my chest out, and
Yeah.
then like, but definitely, when it comes to coming back to a song, I always have a different place. Like, it's like when you put a bookmark in the book, like you're not going to go back and read the pages over again.
Right.
You're going to start on the next page.
Hmm.
So, but sometimes you forget what the story was about.
And you got to
So,
go back a few pages. You got to.
maybe, yeah, maybe you just have to like just kind of review a little bit. But, I don't know. It's good and it's bad because you always want things to feel organic. And that's part of the problem too, is I never want to force anything. So,
That's good. No,
yeah.
that's really good, because a lot of artists these days, they really try to push that. They really try to push the that, oh, this is the love song.
No,
This is
yeah.
that. You know what I mean? Like,
There's so many different places on like the project where it's like, and I don't even know if it's project, like you could say that. It's just songs that I've written that it's like my collection, I
right.
guess. And it's like all things I hold really near and dear. Like the first song is called Sad Girls, and it's like basically like catching someone in the wrong, and you're like, gosh dang it, like
Right.
damn, it's really frustrating. And then there's another song on it, and it's called Let It Go, and it's not the Disney Let It Go, but
So I was,
uh, it's about a guy that likes you, and you keep like a guy friend that I had that really liked me and just wouldn't let it go. And when I told him, I was like, I'm kind of savage, like you just leave me alone, like it's not gonna work out for you.
right.
And then he wanted to cry about it all the time, and I know it sounds really harsh. I'm really
Hmm.
not that bad, but that's basically the song's about. It's like, I just think you should let it go, and it just kind of
Things
like me calling him out on being like basically like I'm saying like you're being a bitch,
like
like leave me alone.
you're too attached. I feel that, and I feel like
Yeah,
a lot of it's like almost like groupie culture,
right.
and sometimes men are the biggest ones, if that makes sense.
I feel like any girl who has some kind of potential or is working towards something that's different,
Hmm.
even if you're not super talented, people put all of their eggs in one basket.
Oh yeah.
And it's hard, like, as an artist for me to meet people and, like, feel so isolated because someone always wants something from you. Like, no one can just, like, be a part of the process and be
Right.
a friend. Everyone wants, like, oh, I want to, like, what, I want to know more about her. And it's nothing, like, I'm very, like, honored and, like, people think I'm interesting,
Hmm.
but it's also hard because I just want friends. And
Right.
a lot of friendships have been ruined because I'm like, if you can't just, like, respect my space, and, you know,
And would that be as far as music goes?
a lot of music too. In the music industry, it's hard being a girl because
Oh yeah,
people want to
definitely.
give you, oh, I'm going to give you this opportunity, or, oh, let's, like, get in the studio, or, I'm not going to name names because, like, I've been around people that
Hmm.
are, like, have number one songs right now, and it's hard because you think you're meeting a friend, or, like, maybe they've been a friend in the past,
Hmm.
and just that, for me, for a while, it was like a turn off. I'm like, I don't want any part of this. Like, I don't want to be an artist anymore. I
Right.
just want to be. That's what drawn me more to the production side, because I'm like, I don't want to be on a stage. I don't want to be a part of that, which is another reason I like jazz so much, is because you don't have to deal with those rappers and
Right.
all that. No offense to you.
No, no, no. We're the worst sometimes. No, no, I definitely feel that. There's a lot of when I was coming up, um, like really young. I'm 18. I'm 19 right now.
Okay.
Just turned 19 a month ago. And coming up with your friends,
Right.
sometimes the some of my closest relationships have been through music, and some of my closer relationships have been broken up through music.
Right.
And that's usually when the money comes into play, when
Mm.
you start trying to make money, when you start trying to sell your product and stuff like that.
For sure.
But I think that, like you said, remaining isolated and kind of being to yourself, and
Mm.
and being an introvert and thinking about things, that helps create the quality of music. And it also shows others that, hey, I'm really on my shit right now. Like, don't you, either you're with
Yeah.
me or against me, get out of my way, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I want to go back a little bit.
Okay.
One of the things that you talked about, so you're talking about when you're in the studio, this is interesting to me.
Okay.
When you're in the studio, you don't like a lot of people in there, you don't like a lot of people, you don't like
No.
people drinking, you don't like people,
Well, people
whatever.
can drink, like, whatever. Like, I've had, like, certain engineers that I've worked with be drinking, and I don't care so much about that. It's just, it's not a party atmosphere for me. To
Right.
me, it's personal, and I've honestly stopped working with a lot of engineers. I'm not doing any recording right now,
Hmm.
because the end result wasn't, like, what I wanted. So
Right.
I'm like, okay, I need to invest a little bit more. And there was, like, a girl, I forget her name. She was live on Instagram, and I think she was, like, friends with SZA, and she was talking about, like, if you really really want this, you've got to put your time into it. Things that you're gonna lose friendships, and you're gonna go broke. Like, and I was like, okay, that's okay with me,
Yeah.
because I love this so much, and it's not even like I love it. It's like, if I don't do music and do something with it, I'll feel like
You're not gonna
this.
feel right.
I'll feel this feeling of incompleteness, like,
Right.
for, like, the rest of my life. I
I
feel
feel
like,
that,
I don't
thousand
know.
percent.
Yeah, so that's that. I don't know. There's just a lot of lack of respect for women in the industry.
So what do you feel like would be, I guess, a solution or some advice to
Man.
young, not even to men. I want you to give some advice to a younger you
Oh,
or
man.
younger women wanting to come into this industry, either what to expect and how to stay out of the way of
Hmm.
things.
I still struggle with that because I'm like, I do work in the industry because I do work with bands all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I drink a lot.
Right.
I go out a lot. I like to have fun. Having a social life is hard, but I think my advice would be, um, in the least cheesy way possible, to stay pure in every sense of that. Never lose your sense of respect for yourself, because once you start to compromise, like, even the smallest things,
Mm-hmm.
that just affects your work completely. Everything does. Just stay focused as possible, and I don't know. It's hard. There's so many things I could say to a younger me,
No, that's
but
good.
like love yourself first and let that be the guide to everything you do. So,
I like that. I like that a lot because a lot of I don't know if are you Latina.
yeah, I am Latina. Yeah.
Latina. Okay. So a lot of I feel like one of the topics I talk about in my music is self hate,
Mm.
and that goes in within the Black and Hispanic communities because that's what drives us to not really care about ourselves. So
Yeah.
when you're out with your friends, you don't really care if you go and steal something from the store. You don't really care if you get in a fight with this guy over here because he's from over here, or you don't really, you're just kind of mindless. You
Right.
people are taking drugs, people are drinking, and not even for the sake of being social. It's just for the sake of escaping. And I
Mm.
feel like a lot of that is through self hate. And I feel like that answer is self love, is knowing your worth and knowing,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, like, especially in the millennial culture, and I've written a song about millennial love, and like that's my mom's favorite song that I've written. She's like, "You gotta do it, you gotta do it." So I'm just needing to find like people to be a part of that song because, like, although I'm a songwriter, I can't play all the pieces myself.
right,
As much as I would want to be that person, I'm not. I'm not a Kanye, and like I'm a fan of his older work for sure.
definitely. Late
Um,
Registration is his
yeah,
best
808s and
album.
heartbeats, heartbreaks. You know, like that's where it's at. But even before that, you know, like Gold Digger, like when he was with
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx and all that kind of stuff, like he was. Jamie Foxx is a whole different story. He's an amazing
Oh yeah.
person. But anyways, back to where we are. Sorry, I'm rabbit holing.
No problem.
What was your question? I totally fell off.
No, I think you answered it. I
Oh
was,
yeah, the self hate thing.
yeah, the self love, self
Yeah,
hate.
and like a Xanny Nation too. Like
Oh
it's
yeah.
just people just the Xans and all this. And you know, I went through a stage where I was like, yeah, drugs are just fun. But I think that was a part of, yeah, definitely self hate because that was a part of me that was like hurt. And I was like masking it, thinking I was having fun with my friends,
Right.
but it was like people who don't care about themselves, so they're not going to care about you and your life choices.
Right.
Um, and it was something as small as like I worked for a dispensary for a while,
Hmm.
but before I had my agent card and I had gotten my patient card and everything, I got arrested for like I mean I didn't have to go to jail or anything, but I had to pay like this huge fine for just
Right.
like it was just like a bowl in my car, like paraphernalia charge, and I
Okay.
would have never had that in my car if I wasn't hanging around the people that I was hanging out with. And it sounds like
One of those
not the
situations.
blame game, but like in a sense, like I would have never carried something like that on me ever.
Hmm.
But I kind of going back to what I was saying before about letting little pieces of you go because like you're hanging out with people who don't have morality, so you start to lose a sense of your own.
Yeah, like
Um,
people that they don't have respect for themselves. They're not gonna respect you in a
right,
sense.
and they're like, oh, it's not a big deal, but like little things, you don't ever have to like disrespect someone or like lower your frequency at any way to you never have to lower yourself to be on anyone's level. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Yeah.
You can always be like in the nicest way possible. Like that's cool for you, but like I just can't. And I'll
Hmm.
respect you. You know, you can always respect the other person without being like, hey, like F you, you know?
Right.
So,
That's cool. No, definitely. All right. So I know I have to talk about this because we talk about current topics and stuff.
right. Okay.
Something really horrible happened this weekend
Oh, yeah.
out in Las Vegas,
Yeah.
and it's involved with music. And just thinking about it, when I woke up on Monday morning, and it's all over social media, and you see the
Right.
videos, and it's like, honestly, I wasn't at the show. I'm not a fan of country music, uh, but I just envision that's such a scary
Yeah.
situation, and I mean, like, I'm at loss of words for the whole situation.
Yeah.
All I can really say is that I'm an artist, and I can't imagine, bringing so many people together, because that's really the point of making, not the point of performing, is bringing people together and have them all have a good time, and kind of be united.
It's people appreciating an art, you know?
Definitely. I remember one of actually the very first show I went to was Redman, Method Man, Cypress
Oh,
Hill,
so cool.
Mick Jenkins. It was dope.
What a
Burner,
show.
and Burner, one of the artists, he, they were smoking weed on stage or whatever, but I was like probably like 15 years old, and that's
Right.
definitely not the show you go to if you're 15 years old. But I went anyway because I was like, dude, that's
Yeah, my little
Red.
brother would do something
Yeah,
like
Red Man
that.
and Method
Yeah.
Man. And one of the artists, he goes, like, yeah, I know this is a rap show. I know y'all are the gangsters, motherfuckers alive, whatever. Who you're a gangster. You're a gangster. I get it. He's like, but
Yeah.
while we're under this ceiling, I don't want anybody getting shot. I don't want anybody getting stabbed. I don't want anybody getting beat up.
Right.
And that night, nobody did. So when you look at this show, and that's not even in your mind.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
there's kids, there's women, there's children there. What do you think about this situation?
To me, I'm gonna be brutally honest. It hurts, but it's like I'm not surprised because of all the things that have happened lately. Like even like the Ariana Grande concert, like
Yeah.
that was horrible. Like that bombing, and it kind of leaves you with like a sense of like helplessness and like almost like emptiness, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And here's my problem with mass media is they amplify issues but not the solution.
Yeah.
I'm all for like let's talk about it, but like let's be proactive. My biggest pet peeve is when people are like, this is what's wrong. Okay, give me a problem, that's fine, but also let's give solutions. I absolutely despise how mass media tries to scare the general public.
Right.
And then to me, it's almost like, are we steering away from bigger issues by amplifying this issue? Not to say it's not important because it's honestly horrific.
Mm-hmm.
But I just wish there was more solutions than like let's just panic about it. Because
Right.
I'm like someone like in a lot of stress. Sometimes like yeah, you can't help but to lose it for a minute. But like okay, we've all had our time to like freak out. Let's make solutions.
Right. It's like a mixture of the gun issue in America
Yeah,
today
yeah,
that really can't be solved because we're so
right,
deep into it. And then on the other hand, also going back to a previous topic, is the mental health issues,
right,
which often leads back to drugs and alcohol and self-love and self-hate.
right.
So even outside of music, there's situations like this that people don't know really affect people. So
Right.
I think my piece of advice would be, you can't give 80% positivity and 20% negativity in the world,
Right.
because
Yeah.
that 20% is going to take over
Mhm.
all the time
Yeah.
regardless. So any energies that you put out should not be negative in any way to anybody,
Yeah.
because I do believe in karma, and I do believe in things happen for a reason.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying this situation happened. Of course, it's horrible, and you can't justify it. But you got to think about the man. You got to think about, all right, what pushed him to do this? All right, well, if he was pushed, what tools was he given to?
People immediately want to be like, he's a monster. He's this and he's that, and I'm not in any sense taking up for him because what he did was absolutely horrific. But there is no way that like a normal person could go and do that.
Right,
He
someone
was
with.
obviously like who knows, like they're investigating, and I hope they can really since from what I heard he committed suicide
Yeah.
before they could get to him. But I mean, hopefully they can investigate because it could be a terrorist attack. It could be many things.
It was a terrorist
Um,
attack. It was the biggest, no doubt that it was
But
a
like
terrorist attack.
finding a terrorist attack, but like who put him up to it? Like was
Mhm.
there more people behind it?
Right.
Was he with some kind of organization? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like finding basically the root of that.
Right.
I mean it's just rough because it's not the first time, and it's
Mhm.
just there's been so much chaos, so it's a hard time in America right now. I feel like not only so much just that and it being in a musical aspect that occurred, but even like the storms that have occurred lately and just all the
America's
issues with
falling
the
apart.
I don't want to say that. I don't want to say America's falling apart. I want to be positive for America. I
Right.
think America needs to stand together. I think there's these issues where we are, as much as we are, I feel like I'm being raised in the 60s right now. I feel like I'm in the
Mhm.
60s because of like the racial issues, the just like political issues. There's just so many things right now, and I consider myself a pretty political person
Right.
that stays on top of things.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Freddie Gray case, like that was something that really affected me personally. I felt like,
Right.
because I got so involved into that case, and how just police brutality is a thing right now. That really, and like how they're trying to reinforce the stop and frisk in
Yeah.
New York. I mean, like there's just these issues that like, what do we do? And I don't know. It's rough, but I think if we as a millennial culture could come together and realize, okay, there's these issues, but we're the young people that can do something about it. You
Right.
can go to your city hall meetings, you can know your rights, you can talk to your friends about politics. We could like come together as a group and talk about these things and how we can give back to our community. It's like, because we have the platforms that we have, we're
Mm-hmm.
so lucky that we can reach so many people. Like mass media is something they didn't have obviously in the 60s, although it
Right.
feels like that, like America's falling apart. We can put America back together if we can stay positive about it.
Right.
We don't want to like, I never want to curse where I live, you know what I mean? I'm never
Mm-hmm.
going to say like America's still the best. In my opinion, America is still the best, and bad things happen everywhere every single day.
Right.
And I think we just really, instead of anything good, it's always something bad, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I can't really speak for mass media, but
I feel that.
as far as what I feel like that's in the news, it can be really scary, and I think they try to scare the general public a lot more than they try to, okay, here's issues and here's solutions, because people just want to panic, you know?
Right.
I don't know.
I feel
But
that.
that's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know that was a heavy issue.
Yeah.
That was heavy, but we had
No,
to go through
totally.
it. All right. So let's talk about something a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for me? Do you have any
Um,
questions? Anything?
Sure. So do you record all your own stuff too?
Um,
Or what's your process?
my process. So, as a rapper, so there's so many different ways for the process as far as me. Sometimes I'll go on YouTube and find a beat and write to it. Sometimes I'll
Yeah.
make the beat, or sometimes I'll have a friend in the room and be like, "Hey, bro." I'll be playing some keys or something. I'll be like, "Hey, man, I need you on the drums real quick." And
Do
then
you play instruments?
I can't read music. I played bass for a year in contemporary in high school. I played
Okay.
drums. I did a year of piano, but I can't say I could play like an
Right.
instrument. I just
Yeah.
kind of I find my way around things, which is interesting because my grandpa he's a guitar player
Okay.
and he had a band, but he doesn't know how to read any music. He does everything by ear.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so
I
that's-
don't always think that's necessary. Although like I'm trying to do that,
mhm.
it's just because I feel like I respect music so much that I want to know everything about it.
Right.
Like even if it's like I don't want to necessarily learn all about theory because it's not an easy thing.
Right.
And for some people, it really is. Like they
Mhm.
really just,
It's like math
Pick-
to them. Like it's
Yeah.
like
Oh,
reading to
yeah.
them. They're just like, damn.
yeah, absolutely. It's very mathematical. It's very, to me, it's difficult. I'm not very good at math.
Right. Hey, no, me neither. And when I came into this class, they're like, yeah, it's a lot of physics and like math.
I know.
And I was like, oh man, this
Oh.
is the stuff that I don't like. How did I end
I
up
know.
here?
I have to take our test today, so we'll see how
Right.
that goes.
Oh yeah,
Was
because
that
he
hard?
didn't. It was interesting. It was
Okay.
hard. It was kind of hard.
Okay. Was there math on it where you had to like?
There was some. There was like two. Maybe.
Oh, okay, whatever. I
Yeah,
think
it's
it's like
not too
1
bad.
point. It's like 1130, and it's like velocity over frequency.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I think that's gonna be fine. But yeah, I don't know. There's so much to learning about music.
Mhm.
It never stops. You can never stop learning. But I just really want to get a grasp on the basics and get
Mhm.
really good at that, because then it just makes everything easier. And in jazz, there's really like you gotta know theory. There's just no way around it.
Right. I definitely feel that. There was the jazz class before me, and our teacher was really
Yeah.
before the contemporary class. So our teacher was very like in that mode still.
Mhm.
So it was like, I would be drumming and he'd be like, you gotta look at it.
You gotta
look at
be
it."
on time. You gotta be on time. You gotta stay in the box. You got to know the key. You've got to know the timing. Those are just like key aspects to being successful. And I don't know. It's hard.
Have you ever performed with a full band?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you like that compared to
I
using the
prefer
PA?
that. I
Right.
prefer that. A full band, it's so much better. Like I can write a song and it be like really simple,
Mm-hmm.
but a full band like makes it come to life. And it's just like you
Right.
feel like it's a groove, you know what I mean? It's
Oh
definitely a
yeah.
vibe. Then the stage fright, it's not as bad anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Still get so nervous, but
Okay.
you
So
just go up
you
there and do it. Like,
right. So I heard you talk about stage fright. So for a young artist,
yeah.
wanting to go, either let's say they're in the studio recording records and they get themselves a little tour, or some
Yeah.
show dates.
I've never been on tour.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Mm, It's always been here's this many tickets, you got to sell
Mhm.
this many. After that, you can keep whatever you make off of them. It's
Right.
never been any like, okay, you're at this venue, this and that. But that's expected in rap right now.
Right.
We're trying to change that. We're trying to
Yeah.
change the platform. We're trying to flip the whole entire game on its head. But I'll talk about that another time. As far as live performing, have you ever bombed? Have you
Oh
ever?
yeah. I mean, not like necessarily bombed, but like sometimes like in jazz, especially if you come in on the wrong timing,
Mhm.
it'll speed up or slow down, or if you forget to do the timing.
Yeah,
Like a Sunday ago, I was singing at the Nash, and I didn't give them a timing because I just got confused. She just started playing, and I'm like, all right.
let's
So I
get
started
it.
singing, and I couldn't hear what I sounded like. I needed them to turn my mic a little bit up,
Hmm.
but I just kept going, and everyone's like, "Oh, you did so good." I have no idea what it sounded like. No idea.
Right.
So I mean, sometimes like the first time I sang, I ended up doing really good, but still like as an artist, like you could do really good and still feel like you bombed. I don't know.
Right.
The stage fright is
It's
no one. I feel like no one could be worse than me at stage fright. I mean,
uh-huh.
I have a terrible stage presence. Like I'm kind of rude, I guess. I just get up there and I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, this is a song I'm singing,
Right.
and I'm like, thank you. After I'm done, and I sit down. Like,
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I guess that just comes with time, like with having your own band.
Mhm.
And I have a band that practices. Like we're practicing after class today.
Right.
So if you want to come and see that, we'll be
Okay.
doing that.
Cool.
But yeah, I mean,
S- So I brought that
sorry,
up because as far as in rap, I've done shows where it's like
you freaked up really bad, or
no, the music was good, you
mm,
mess up words or whatever, but it was cool. It felt like I was doing comedy for a second though,
okay,
because it was that moment where you go, all right, how's everybody doing tonight? And it was silent as that, and I go, okay. I had to fix myself a little bit. All right, how's everybody? And then two people, and woo. And you're like,
yeah,
and it hurts your ego, especially
yeah,
as a dude, as a rapper. You're supposed to
yeah.
be the man with all these chains or whatever, and it hurt. It hurt, but then it humbled me at the same time because
Mm,
I realized, and my friends told me that, dude, you're demanding them to speak back to you.
mm,
Like you kind of got mad after they didn't respond to you. So
right,
then your second response was like, where are y'all at?
yeah,
And he was like, you want to talk to the crowd. You want to be able to look someone in their eye while you're singing or while you're rapping
right,
and have them feel everything you're saying. You take
mm.
them along with you. And I was like, okay. So then our second show, or the show after that,
You
I
learned from that,
yeah, I mean, I was
yeah,
still a little extra, like, how's it, because your
yeah,
adrenaline's running and you're
for
like,
sure.
and you don't know what to do with that extra energy.
Yeah,
But it was better, and there's secrets to it. Not
right.
secrets. There's nothing's a
You
secret.
just learn from experience. I think that's a little bit different with jazz, is because I don't have to get the wow factor from people.
Hmm.
I don't need a welcome. It's more of just like, all right, y'all, like this is
Keep the groove going,
it's
almost.
it's like a group, but it's like when it's jazz, everyone knows the tunes you're singing already. You know what I
Okay.
mean? A lot of it's standards.
Right.
And so you're singing these songs, and it's just like how you connect with that song. And people have respect because the key that you do it in, like you have to, they know how it goes. So if you sing a wrong note and there's someone, like I've had a guy from Motown be in the crowd before,
Wow.
and that was like, And in the first minute of the song, not even before the song even started, the bass player played the wrong note.
Oof.
And it was like, how? But it was fine. I mean, like
Mhm.
I wasn't even supposed to be singing with this guy. Um Basically what happened was I was in this restaurant and the owner, I sang for him sometime and he's like, I want you to sing. I've got this jazz band coming in, like, I want you to sing. And I was just there grabbing a drink.
Mhm.
And so he's like, he asked the band, he's like, I'm paying you guys, I want her to sing with just one song. And they were like, okay. And it wasn't like a hard song for them to play. They did good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did it, and
And
you just gotta do it. Like,
yeah.
I don't actually look at anyone in the crowd at all. I look at the candles on the table. I close my eyes, like,
Mhm.
because it's like I really feel what I'm saying. Like, I
Right.
really, and a lot of jazz is like stuff that I've connected with. Like, one of the songs I sing a lot is called Lover Man,
Mhm.
and it's like, it just talks about like lover man. Like, I've never had affection, is what she's talking about, and she's like, when do I get love? Like, you
Mhm.
know what I mean? And I feel like you can always connect with that, especially being a millennial
Oh yeah.
where love is just like, it means nothing. You know what I mean?
For
It's like
real.
people are like,
I
I,
love
I
you.
had people say like, oh, let's talk for like 6 months. I'm like, how about you're psychotic? Like, and that's
Let's just talk for like 6 months.
like, no, yeah. I'm like, we just met, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Probably not,
Oh,
but
maybe let's start with how are you doing or
yeah,
something
I'm
like
like,
that.
I'm not even trying. I wasn't even thinking that. Thanks for bringing it up. But, I don't know. Things like that. But I don't know. When it comes to dating, I'm not focused on that at all. But
Okay.
it does, like, I think as an artist, you just are really passionate about things. So, like, when you do let someone into your life, it's very, like, not, and there is a little ego behind it in a
Oh
sense
yeah.
that's like, I'm letting you into my world and my very busy schedule.
Mhm.
Respect me and my
I
art.
want you to be able to understand. A lot of people, a lot of
Don't get it.
get it from musicians.
That you need, and I'm a very introverted person, so I don't want to hang out all the time. I don't want to be around people all the time. And I don't know, my friends are going out of town for 2 weeks. I was supposed to go with them, but I'm obviously in school,
Mhm.
and they're driving up the coast to San Francisco, and just like,
Wow.
it's gonna be a really good time. But she's also my roommate, so I'm actually excited to be alone because
Right.
I love my friends, but like, I gotta stay focused, and it's really hard when you have really fun friends that work at a music venue and you guys get 50% off on all drinks.
Oh,
It's
nice.
just like, geez, like,
I feel that.
yeah, I don't know. Like, tonight I'm gonna go see Masa, and so I'm pretty excited about that.
Okay.
So I don't know. I feel like that's someone I didn't want to miss, even though I have a lot of homework,
Mhm.
because he does a live set, and I want to see how he builds.
Does he perform with a live band?
He
Like
does
full?
everything himself.
Everything himself?
Everything himself.
Oh, you got to put me on game of this guy.
Yeah, he wrote for ASAP Rocky. He's gonna be at Crescent Ballroom. I'm pretty sure it's sold out. And I don't know if you've ever been to Crescent Ballroom, but it's
No.
tiny. It's like the size of this room.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
Well,
yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah, I'm really excited. So, and it's different. Like, but he has all kinds of different singers. But yeah, basically, I can imagine being a rapper. Like, there is a song I feel like I kind of have a little bit of a rhythm in.
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't say I'm rapping at all, but
Right.
I mean,
Hey.
closest I'm getting to it is that.
Hey, some of the best raps are sung. I want you to know that. Some of
Yeah.
the best raps are sung
Okay.
because I feel like with rap music, and my dad told me this when I was younger. I showed him some
Yeah.
artists named Machine Gun Kelly. Sorry. I liked him when I was younger, right? But I go. He goes, "What are you listening to?" Because we're in the car, and he's always like, "What are you listening to?" You always have one earbud in, and then you're listening to me, you have the other one. I'm like, this guy named Machine Gun Kelly. He's like,
Yeah.
put him on. I'm like, okay. And my dad liked Dr. Dre. He liked
Yeah.
Snoop.
What did he think about it?
Gangsta shit. He hears him, and it was one of those songs where he's like, and he's like, he's not saying shit. And I was like, what? It hurt my feelings, I'm younger. I was like, I really
You're
like this
is
dude.
what I'm on.
He's
I
like,
want him to
this
think
is,
it's
yeah.
cool.
He's like, he's not saying shit. He's just saying it
Mhm.
fast. I got more cheddar. I got this. He's like,
Yeah.
he fooled you. And I was like, damn. And then I thought about it, and then I was like, okay. And then I started listening to like people who slowed down their rhymes. And then I started listening to Miguel, and that boy right there, he has
Miguel.
bars. He has bars, but he sings them so beautifully.
He's so. Did you see him sing the Weekend by SZA? When he was
Yes, I
singing
did.
it?
That's
oh
so
my
dope.
God, it was so beautiful. And that's part of the reason why I love jazz is because it has substance.
Right.
And even if the words are simple, the melodies are complex.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's if you can do jazz, you can do anything. There's a respect that comes with like, oh yeah, I do jazz. People are like taken back. Oh, oh.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I love that respect.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And just that's what I like. Like I'm writing a song too with Xavier. I don't know if you know who he is.
We'll meet.
He
We'll meet.
with you. And he one of the lyrics on it is like where it's about growing in a space that's too small. Like
Right.
being around people that like you feel like you can't connect with because you're not in a sense like better than them, but you're different. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're just I don't know, like and then it kind of goes into different things like the part of the lyrics are like pick a petal from my rose and throw it on a burning stove and wonder why I'm so cold. Like
Pick apart my red. What was it?
pick a petal from my rose and throw it on a burning stove and wonder why I'm so cold.
Mm.
So
Right.
I always like to write things that have a meaning behind them.
Right.
And even if it's simple, like it meant something to me
Right.
in that moment.
I feel that it's like it's so simple. People make it seem complicated.
Yeah.
It's similes and metaphors. Something,
Yeah.
something like this, or I am this.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
that's a different song. It's not as jazzy because it's like the beat is so I don't know. I really like it though.
Mhm.
Even though it has a lot of words, it's like a mouthful. I think it's important to be complex. Like although I can channel that really jazzy like in my voice, like
Mhm.
I don't always sing the same either. Like
Right.
I don't know.
I feel that. Okay, so
But if you think about it too, like SZA and Babylon,
oh yeah,
totally different than what
Oh
she's
my
doing
God.
now.
She said, "Crucify me." I was like, "Oh God."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, "Oh God."
Yeah.
And then okay, so did you see the video for that?
I haven't.
You
No.
haven't?
I know.
I'm not gonna spoil it for
I'm
you.
literally not on music videos. I need to do that. Yeah.
So okay, so as far as music videos, what do you feel like other than your music could help you branch out further?
I think I just need to practice more. I think that's all it is. Like practice makes perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And then once my band we finally get a set down, then we're gonna start gigging and stuff, and that's gonna help me. It's just
Right.
about getting out there. Like
Mhm.
that's why I sing at the Nash every opportunity I can,
Right.
even if it's like one song because I'm in front of people, I'm singing, and it's unrehearsed. They're
Mhm.
like, "Oh, London, you're gonna sing. Come on up here," and you go up there. What song are you gonna sing? Blah blah. Here's the key, and then it's like 1, 2. 1, 2, like you depending on what song you want.
Mhm.
You don't clap. You don't snap on 3. That's something I learned, and I'm 23 years old. That's embarrassing. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and
Yeah, okay.
you know what I mean? So like I snapped on 3 one time, and this drummer gave me the dirtiest look, and I was like, I'm sorry, okay, but I can sing.
I'm only human.
I know. I'm like, but I can sing, and I respect you, so respect me.
Right.
I may not be the most seasoned musician, but
Right. So, and this is just what I've learned. This
Mhm.
is my advice to you. As far as the music industry goes, a lot of the time the music isn't valuable. It's
Right.
valuable to us, the musician, of course, because we're sitting here like, okay, I'm gonna say this on this time, and it's gonna sound dope.
yeah,
But to other people outside of it, it might not be as special to them
right,
until they get something with the music. And this is kind of where my idea of music videos came in.
right,
If people have a visual of you and they can go click on you on YouTube,
yeah,
this podcast right now, let's say we have 130 people listening. Nobody's listening right now, but let's say we get
Yeah.
130 people, right?
Mhm.
That's Club Red packed.
Right.
That's this club packed,
yeah, for
and you're
sure.
online and you're in a room by yourself.
For sure.
So
Oh,
and it's accessible.
I have visuals. Like,
Mhm.
don't get me wrong. Like for Sad Girls, even though it's like my favorite song, I've had this visual for a music video in my head for a long time. I'm not gonna give any spoilers,
Right.
but it's gonna be good. And I've talked to some people about my video idea, and I haven't had one person be like, "Oh, it sucks." They're like, "That's so weird. I like it." You know. So
Well, maybe we
definitely-
could get you. Well, people I know.
Yeah, I just have to finish the
directors and
song.
stuff.
I
Yeah.
just have to finish it, and that's with one of the old guys I used to make music with, and I haven't. So much recently because I'm trying to go on a different path
Mm-hmm.
than what he's doing. And I'll respect him, but he just makes a lot of rap beats, and I'm not a rapper, so.
Right.
And no disrespect, he's really awesome, and
Mm-hmm.
if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have the experience of working in studios.
Right.
But he is really busy with his project, and he's actually the producer for Falling Atmosphere.
Oh, dope.
This
Dope.
guy
Dope.
named Cali Plus, and
Dope.
they just went on tour with Mark Battles.
Mm-hmm. I know Mark Battles. I don't know
Yeah.
him personally, but I heard him.
Yeah, so I hang out with those guys. I'm on a song with Mark Battles and all them, and
Cool.
but I don't ever promote that kind of music because I'm like, I want to be seen as a jazz singer,
Right.
and maybe the first jazz singer with a grill, because that's my dream.
Hey, turn up. Right? It got to be
Yeah.
the bottom one though. You know what I'm saying?
Of course,
Just
and
the
then
bottom.
just really sad girl aesthetic with the
See, when I
grill.
was younger, I used to want to have gold fangs. Just take my, you know what I'm saying? My
Oh,
wolf
yeah.
teeth. Just take them out, like out of my skull, and I want a gold one.
See, and my thing is now is a lot of rappers are like really thriving off that emo stuff,
Mhm.
and that was me my entire life, like dressing like really weird, like in paisley like shirts and combat boots, and just like
Right.
like that emo like punk kind of scene. Like my best friends were in a metal band,
Yeah.
and yeah, I used to date this guy in a band in high school, and like I just went to shows, and like that was my life. And so seeing that, like, and people being like, oh, why do you dress like that, or why do you wear so much eyeliner, and now it being like now it's popular and everyone dresses
Right.
like that, and I'm like,
You got rappers doing
fuck,
it. Grown men,
Yeah.
rappers like.
I'm like, fuck, you guys are so like late to the party, and now it's cool. Okay, it's fine, whatever. I'll let you have your moment, but just
Right.
know, the true emos were there before
I
you.
feel it. See, I was never emo, but I went to a performing arts high school,
Oh, that's so cool.
so it was everywhere. It was
That's so
everywhere. No, it was really cool. It was a different experience. They put us. We started off as rappers, but they didn't give us a beat in a studio. They gave us a drummer, a bass player, a keyboard player, and
Yeah.
a stage and 2 microphones. And we
Wow.
were like, all right, let's put together a song.
So can you like do like freestyle? Is that your thing?
I could freestyle.
So you freestyle like on like a beat, or you freestyle on like just like whenever? Like you could just like freestyle right now.
I could freestyle right now.
He's like, please don't put me on the
Put
spot.
me on the
but-
spot. This is my first episode.
Oh my! Of course, it's gotta be like it's like that sometimes.
Right. Okay, so I can freestyle. I could freestyle without it. I mean, it just depends what mood I'm in. If I'm
Yeah.
with my boys, if
You're
I'm with
like,
Mason,
you're like, da-da-da-da-da,
yeah, we'll start
da-da-da-da.
rapping, or we put on beats or something, and just be like, yo, start saying something stupid, and then you start
Yeah.
getting serious, and then you start like, it's really weird when you do it,
Yeah.
because in like this morning, my homie works with me. I took him home, and I was playing beats in my car, and I was like, listen to this one. We were like, ooh, you know what I'm saying? And then I started rapping, and I'm driving at the same
Yeah.
time, so I'm rapping subconsciously. So while I'm driving and switching lanes and stuff, the words are coming into my head, and I'm just
I
like,
love
bam,
that. Yeah.
bam, and I'm just hit. And then my homie's like
Hell
his
yeah.
face changes every time, every line. He's like, woo, woo,
Yeah,
and
I
was
never
like,
do that in front of my friends, but like a lot of times I'm driving in the car and I'm
Uh-huh.
playing like a beat for a song I'm supposed to be writing to, and I just start like a lot of times too in my room I'll like play something, and I'll just start like singing whatever to it, or
Yeah.
I'll play something on the piano and I'm just like, it's a song I've already written maybe, and I'm just like singing something totally different, and
To it,
I'll
yeah.
record myself, and I'm like, oh yeah, I like that piece, I like that
might have
piece.
been doper. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
you're thinking about
Yeah, I do that too. I guess in a sense I do freestyle some stuff, but not in the same way, obviously, because I'm not.
it. Right.
I'm not a rapper.
You should be. I'm just like, yeah, but so as far as what time is it? Do you have the time? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it is 11:51. I just skipped my
51.
entire class, but it's fine.
It's all for the podcast.
All for the podcast.
So we're gonna wrap up right now, but
Okay.
let me ask you one more thing.
Okay, go for it.
I'm putting myself on the spot. Let me freestyle
okay.
this one. All right. What would you think? Whoa. This is hard.
Yeah.
Being an interviewer is hard. I don't know if you know this.
Yeah, I do interviews sometimes too. It's not always easy. You want to come up with like really different questions, and be
Oh,
unique.
I
Oh,
know. I know. Okay. All right. I got you. I'm not. All right. So,
okay.
do you have any shows coming up?
I'm working on it. So I was really sick this past week.
Mm-hmm.
I was supposed to sing at St. Francis with Dennis on Sunday. So we'll see. I have a voice lesson on Thursday.
Okay.
You'll come see my rehearsal today and
I will.
you can tell me what you think about that. But as of right now, I'm working more shows than I'm doing myself.
Okay.
But it's good. I love working shows. I like getting that other aspect of music.
Right.
But as I do have shows, I'll let people know because people have been asking me for like the past year, like, when's your next show? Like, when
Right.
are you doing this? And I'm just slacking right now.
Right.
I need to get on it though.
Okay.
Because
Do you
I
have
got stuff.
anything you want to promote?
Anything I want to promote. Follow me on Instagram, Lundy, LUNDEY_, because that's where I post all of my stuff. Anytime I'm going to be doing anything or going somewhere or singing somewhere, you'll find it on there because that's like my main source of social media. So,
Right. Okay.
yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is SEC's
first podcast.
Ask a Innovator, Ask a Creator podcast. Thank
Oh
you.
my
You killed it.
gosh. Thank
That didn't
you.
even feel like an hour.
It did not feel like an hour.
but-
Thank you so much.
Yeah. No. Thank you.
That was really fun. We can get hugs.
Oh, hell
Thank
yeah.
you.
All right. So, one of these days, I need to show. I want to show you some